Long ago, deep under the glowing blue skin of the sea, where sunlight never reached, there was a hidden kingdom that no eye could see, not even the moons. This was Ebeze, the secret deep, home to mermaids made of salt, secrets, and shadows, not soft songs and shiny smiles. The ocean floor there was strange. Coral grew upside down, and plants whispered without being touched. Fish swam in endless circles. In the center stood a giant black shell, closed tight like a fist. The mermaids called it Ebeze, the Forbidden Clam. No one dared to open it. Not even Ijeoma. Ijeoma was the youngest ocean sister, with silver scales that sparkled like fireflies. Her fins cut through water faster than storm winds, but her curiosity raced even quicker. She did not fit in the shadows like the others. She chased moon jellyfish and twirled with dolphins near the dangerous edges until the day the tide turned wild. It began when the ocean froze still. No bubbles rose, no currents pulled, no sounds echoed. For the first time in many tides, the sea held its breath like a scared child. The elders of Ebeze rushed to the clam. They circled it like storm clouds before thunder. Ijeoma hid and watched, her heart pounding. Their faces were hard, fins stiff. They pressed tails to hearts and chanted the old warning. Never wake what sleeps beneath. But it was too late. That night, a loud crack split the shell of Ebeze. It did not open wide, but it breathed out thick green mist like a snake's hiss. The water around shimmered like broken glass, sharp and scary. By morning, the coral gardens nearby turned black and crumbled like ash. Ijeoma dashed closer, dodging dead plants, her fins whipping fast. She hid in a deep trench, peeking out with wide eyes. Then she saw it, a dark shape slithering. Not swimming gracefully, not floating softly, slithering like a monster on the sand. She blinked hard. It was gone. Her chest tightened with fear, but curiosity pulled her out. She swam after where it vanished, weaving through twisted coral. Suddenly, the fish started vanishing. First, the bright rainbow guppies blinked out of sight. Then, the glowing moonfish. Even the fierce sharks disappeared without a fight. No scales, no blood, nothing left. Whispers raced through Ebeze like black ink in clear water. Older mermaids pulled the young ones close, their voices shaking. Darkness remembers, they warned, and it hungers deep. But Ijeoma could not stay away. A strange pull tugged her heart toward the Forbidden Clam. She felt excited and scared, like a storm inside. The mist grew thicker each day, rolling over sandhills like fog in a nightmare. Plants withered and died where it touched. The slithering shape came back not once, but twice. Ijeoma's fins trembled, but she followed it bravely, darting through the haze. Her silver scales glowed faintly, lighting her way. What she found chilled her to the bone. It was a mermaid, but twisted and wrong. Its eyes were blank white glass, its tail dull and lifeless. Instead of gliding, it dragged across the floor like a broken thing. It twisted its head toward her. Ijeoma froze, her blood turning cold. Its mouth was stitched shut with black seaweed, but somehow it smiled a creepy, silent grin that made her want to scream. Terror exploded in her chest. She spun and fled, fins slashing water like lightning. She zoomed home, heart thumping like war drums, dodging shadows that seemed to chase her. But when she tried to warn the others, no words came. The sea had stolen her voice. Tears stung her eyes, fear, sadness, and anger mixed like swirling currents. That night, all old songs faded from the water. No whale sang, no dolphin clicked, No crab scuttled with noise. Mereke fell into a deadly quiet. Too quiet. And far away. The forbidden clam creaked wider, promising more darkness to come. The next morning, the water pressed down like a heavy blanket. Not thick like mud, but watching, like eyes hidden in the deep. Mermaids who once twirled and laughed in the swift currents now squeezed together in coral caves, their tails shaking. The sea stopped teasing their fins with playful pulls. The kelp forest stayed silent when they brushed by, no more gentle songs. Even the jellyfish's glow faded, as if a monster from below had gulped it down. And still, the clam creaked open. Not wide like a door, just a thin crack, like a strand of hair. But more green mist poured out, twisting like snakes with hungry eyes, sniffing for fear in the water. The elders called for brave scouts, strong mermaids with mighty tails and eyes shining like pearls dashed forward. They zipped toward Ebeze in a line, weaving past black reefs and empty caves where no fish dared to hide. Their fins cut through the haze, hearts pounding with courage, but they vanished into the mist. Not one swam back. Ijeoma peeked from behind a tall stone coral, her body tense. She felt the pull again, not from outside, but yanking deep in her chest, like a hook, as if the thing inside the clam whispered her name, calling her closer. She shook her head hard, trying to chase the feeling away, her silver scales flickering wildly. But that night, danger crept in. Ijeoma curled tight in her sleeping shell, eyes shut, begging for rest. Suddenly, a soft whisper slid into her ear like icy water. Not real words, but she knew them clear as day. "You are not like the rest." She jerked awake with a sharp gasp, fins flaring. Her sisters slept around her, fins twitching softly, lips mumbling dream words, but their moves looked wrong. Too slow, like dying waves. Too still, like trapped stones. Ijeoma backed up fast, eyes wide, watching every shadow. Then it came, a dark shape gliding over the seabed. It slipped through the cave walls without moving a single grain of sand, silent as death. Wherever it touched, the mermaids froze mid-dream. Their bodies floated up gently, but eyes stayed open, staring into nothing. Glassy eyes, creepy, empty smiles. Just like that sewn-mouth mermaid from before. The hollow ones were here. No one talked about them for hundreds of tides. But Ijeoma remembered the secret songs, passed in whale bellies and hummed only on blackest nights. The hollow ones were once happy mermaids like her, touched by an ancient evil so old, even the sea lost its name. They listened too much to the dark whispers. Now, they were hollow inside, empty shells, puppets pulled by strings from whatever slithered in the clam's crack. Terror exploded in Ijeoma's heart. She opened her mouth to scream, but only bubbles danced out, tickling her throat uselessly. She spun around and bolted from the cave, heart slamming like thunder, tail whipping the water into foam. The sea stung her skin like fire, grabbing at her fins as if to drag her back. She raced to Mereke's edge, dodging twisted shadows that lunged like claws. Finally, she crashed onto a moonstone rock, gasping, body trembling. Tears poured from her eyes, mixing with the salt water. Not just from fear, but from knowing the truth. She was changing too. The green mist had brushed her once that night. She chased the slithering shape. A cold shiver hit her then, but she thought it passed. Now her scales glowed dimmer, like fading stars. Her voice stayed gone, stolen away. And sometimes, in the edge of her sight, her reflection grinned when she felt only sadness. Something had slipped inside her. The forbidden clam had picked her, and the sea grew quiet not from fright, but to get ready. Something ancient was stirring, something that would rise soon, hungry for the light above. By noon, when the sun blazed high above the sea, Namareke was no longer a kingdom. It was a graveyard of lost souls. Mermaids drifted, like broken seaweed, eyes wide open, mouths sealed shut. They glided on invisible paths, silent as stones, never turning, never pausing. The coral stopped pulsing with life. The sea turtles vanished without a trace. Only Ijeoma stayed awake, truly awake. She squeezed into a tight crack between two jagged black rocks, deep under the ancient Pearl Mountains. The green mist crawled slower here, as if playing a trick, pretending to be tired. But Ijeoma knew it was watching, waiting to pounce. The forbidden clam gaped wide open now. Its dark mouth showed a blackness so deep, no starlight could touch it. From inside came a hum, not a sound, but a shiver that shook her bones and made her tail twitch. It whispered one thing: "Come closer." Ijeoma fought it hard. She counted shells to stay focused. She hummed old songs in her head. She wove her hair with sharp coral to keep her hands busy. But the hum was sneaky, patient, always there. It wanted her. Then came the night of the blood current. The water turned red as fire, rushing backward through caves with a roar. Ijeoma's heart thumped as she peeked out. The hollow ones gathered around the clam, hundreds of pale, broken mermaids, their glassy eyes glowing in the red glow. In the center, something rose. Not a mermaid, not a fish, something wrong. It had a twisting tail like a snake, a long body like a sea dragon, and a face of 1,000 screaming mouths, silent as death. It was the first deep one, the oldest evil in the sea. Older than mermaids, older than tides, older than the sea's own name. And it was awake, not forced, invited. Ijeoma's blood froze. She understood now why Ebeze had opened. Not to escape, but to pull her in. She was the key, the final piece. Her dreams weren't dreams. The whispers weren't lies. The creepy smile in her reflection wasn't hers. It was the first deep one, learning her, learning to steal her. She kicked hard to escape, but her tail dragged slow, heavy like wet sand. Her arms felt like stone. Her silver scales faded grey at the tips. The mist had wormed inside her, claiming her bit by bit. Still, she fought. She slashed her tail against sharp rocks, blood mixing with water, to stay awake. She chewed bitter kelp, the pain sparking her courage. She screamed her name in her mind. Ijeoma, Ijeoma, Ijeoma. But the sea ignored names now. The hollow ones turned toward her hiding spot, heads twisting slowly, all at once, their empty eyes locked on her. One slow blink at a time, they glided closer, no weapons, no anger, just those eerie, still smiles. And at the front was her sister, Nenena. Her face looked calm, but her eyes, gone, replaced by hollow white voids. Ijeoma's heart broke. Tears streamed down her face as she burst from the crack, fins thrashing wildly. She wasn't fleeing them. She was leading them. The first deep one didn't want Nmereke. It hungered for the whole sea. And Ijeoma was its door. She just hadn't closed yet. Far beyond Nmereke, past silent shark caves and crumbling coral towers, the sea still danced with life. Starfish hugged rocks tightly. Baby octopuses giggled, playing hide and seek in the swaying kelp. But danger was coming. Ijeoma reached the ocean's edge, a legendary place called the Silver Rim, where water shimmered like liquid moonlight. Old tales said the moon could almost touch the waves here, a safe haven. But safety was a lie. The green mist had chased her, curling like fingers through the water. Behind it came the Hollow Ones, a creepy parade of lost mermaids. Their fins hung still, pushed forward by the current like dead wood. Their glassy eyes never blinked. Their sewn smiles never changed. Idioma's tears were gone. She was too weak to cry. Her scales had dulled to grey. Her stolen voice stayed silent. Even her name, Idioma, felt like a stranger's in her mind. She didn't know how much fight she had left. Then the sea quaked. Not from storms, but from something older. The first deep one had stretched across the ocean floor, its massive body coiling through secret caves no one ever found. It didn't roar or scream, it remembered. And as it remembered, the sea forgot. Forgot how to ripple, forgot how to glow, forgot how to love. The water turned dark, not black, but empty, like hope had drowned. Ijeoma fought her way to the Shell Bridge, the sea's oldest place, where the first mermaid's song once made the waves laugh. Now it was silent, heavy with dread. She dodged falling rocks and darted through twisting currents, her heart pounding. She understood now. She couldn't fight the first deep one. She had to trap it with herself. Deep in her heart, an ancient lullaby stirred, a song from before the clam cracked, not sung with lips, but with spirit. She zoomed to the Shell Bridge's center, spinning into a tight spiral. The Hollow Ones closed in around her like ghostly petals, their eerie smiles glowing. The first deep one loomed above, its 1,000 screaming mouths silent but terrifying. Ijeoma didn't run. She closed her eyes, remembering her mother's gentle fins, her sister Nenena's happy giggles, the soft tickle of sea foam, the sparkle of sandlight. Her chest warmed. The song woke inside her. Soft, warm, fierce. It wasn't just a song, it was truth. She let it burst out, and the sea shook. Waves bent and swirled around her like a storm. The Hollow Ones froze. Their white eyes flickered, their sewn mouths cracked, black seaweed snapping like broken chains. For the first time in forever, they blinked. The first deep one twisted in pain, its silent shriek shaking the water. It thrashed, coiling back toward the clam. But Ebeze slammed shut, locking it away. Ijeoma had become the seal. Her song poured her soul into the sea. She vanished, but the mist melted away. Fish darted back, flashing with color. Corals bloomed in bright reds and blues. Narake stirred awake. The Hollow Ones became whole again, lost sisters blinking, confused, tears streaming like rivers. They called for Ijeoma, searching the waves, but she was gone, woven into the tide itself. Now, when the sea is calm and the moon kisses the waves, a soft hum ripples through the water. Not a warning, not a whisper, a promise. Ijeoma is still watching, holding the darkness behind the clam's door, so the sea never forgets again. Subscribe, like, share, and comment for more interesting stories.